The day started like any other. Children laughed in the parks, cars filled the highways, and markets were alive with noise. No one on Earth could see what was happening above the clouds. Far beyond the blue sky, in the blackness of space, a fleet of alien ships arrived. Their metal bodies glowed under the sun. Some were as big as cities, with shining banners of peace stretching across their hulls. These were not warships, at least not yet. These were peace envoys from the Galactic Council, the rulers of hundreds of star systems. The Council had come with a simple message: Earth must obey. For months, the Council had watched humans closely. They saw Earth fight off raiders from the outer rim. They saw humans defend their small colonies with surprising courage. And then, one Council patrol ship disappeared near Earth's border. The Council blamed humans immediately. They said Earth had broken galactic law. They demanded answers, but Earth stayed silent. So the Council sent envoys, ambassadors, diplomats, and soldiers to bring order to this wild young planet. The envoys expected fear. They expected surrender. They were wrong. As their ships circled the planet, the alien leaders peered down at the continents, the oceans, the shining cities. Primitive, one envoy muttered, his voice cold. They have no idea who we are. Another laughed softly. Tomorrow they will be on their knees. But something felt strange. The humans below didn't panic. There were no terrified crowds. No armies rushing to defend the skies. Life on Earth went on as if nothing was happening. It made the envoys uneasy. The lead envoy, High Speaker Terralcor, stood tall in the command chamber of the flagship. His silver robes glittered under the lights as he gave the order. Send them the Council's message. Across satellites, radios, and digital networks, his voice thundered. People of Earth, you have attacked a Council vessel. You will surrender your weapons. You will submit to Council law, refuse, and face consequences beyond your imagination. The message spread across the planet, but Earth gave no answer. Terralcor frowned. He ordered the message sent again, louder this time, with sharper words. This is your final warning. Obey the Council or suffer the price. Again, Earth stayed silent. No leaders came forward. No armies moved. No replies at all. From orbit, the alien envoys saw glowing cities, moving ships, and busy people. Yet not a single signal came back. It was as if Earth was listening and waiting. The silence began to feel heavier than threats. Finally, a smaller envoy ship broke formation and flew toward the surface. Its mission was to scan for weapons, military bases, anything dangerous. It never returned. One moment its signal was clear. The next moment, nothing. No explosion. No distress call. The ship was simply gone. The alien envoys began to whisper among themselves. Was it an accident? One asked. Maybe their ship malfunctioned, another said. But deep down, fear was growing. More scout ships were sent to different parts of the planet. Some searched the oceans. Others scanned the skies. One by one, they vanished too. No wreckage. No signs of attack. Just silence. Terralcor's calm voice grew tight with anger. Earth is hiding something. I want answers now. But no answers came. Strange energy readings started appearing on their scanners. Deep under the oceans. Far below the surface. Massive structures. Power sources brighter than anything the envoys had seen before. Impossible. One of the science officers whispered. Humans should not have technology like this. Maybe it is ancient alien tech, another said nervously. Maybe they found it. Terralcor stared at the planet below. Something about this world felt wrong. The Council had called humans young, reckless, weak. But the longer the fleet stayed above Earth, the more that label began to feel like a lie. And the silence, the endless, perfect silence from Earth, was worse than any threat. The alien crews grew restless. Some asked to leave orbit and call for the Council's military. Others said it was only human stubbornness, nothing more. But Terralcor kept thinking about the vanished ships, the strange energy signals, the fearless humans below who acted as if alien fleets meant nothing. For the first time, the mighty envoys of the galaxy felt something they had not felt in centuries. Doubt. They had come expecting surrender. Instead, they had found mystery, and sometimes mystery was far more dangerous than war. The envoy fleet hung above Earth like a crown of steel and fire. Dozens of ships, shining under the sun, casting long shadows over the clouds. The alien leaders expected fear, panic, or at least some reaction. But the planet below remained silent. Inside the flagship, High Speaker Terralcor stood tall, his silver eyes fixed on the blue world beneath him. He had given 2 warnings already. Earth had answered neither. "This is disrespect," one envoy muttered, his voice trembling with anger. "No world dares ignore the council." "Perhaps they don't understand," another suggested. But Terralcor shook his head slowly. "No," he said, his voice low. "They understand perfectly. That is what troubles me." He ordered another message to be sent. This one broadcasted across every human frequency, every channel, every satellite. "People of Earth, the Council gives you one last chance. Surrender your weapons. Submit to our law. Speak now or pay the price." The words echoed across the planet. Every human city heard them. Every device translated them. Yet no reply came. On the streets of Earth, life continued as if nothing was happening. Markets were busy. Children played football in the parks. Trains moved across the land like iron serpents. From orbit it looked wrong. One envoy, a thin creature with green scales, turned toward Terralcor. "Why do they not respond? Even the most defiant worlds send angry words. These humans send nothing. Nothing at all." Terralcor didn't answer. His eyes stayed on the planet, watching the silent oceans below. The Council fleet began to feel uneasy. Then, without warning, one of the smaller envoy ships disappeared. No explosion, no distress call. 1 second it was there. The next second, gone. The command chamber filled with voices. Another ship lost. Was it an attack? There were no energy readings. No weapons fired. Silence fell over the room. For the first time, the envoys felt something they were not used to feeling. Fear. More scout ships were sent to investigate Earth's oceans. Massive energy signals had been detected deep under the waves. Maybe hidden bases. Maybe weapons. One by one, those scout ships vanished too. "Impossible," a science officer whispered. "Humans should not have technology to do this." "Maybe it is old alien tech," another envoy said nervously. "Maybe they found it on this planet." But no one believed that. Deep down, they all knew something else was happening. Something worse. Terralcor ordered long-range scans. Strange results came back. Energy levels under the ocean so powerful that even council computers couldn't explain them. "Could it be natural?" someone asked hopefully. "No," the science officer replied. "This is not natural. Someone built this." But who? Humans were supposed to be primitive. Their ships were slow, their weapons old, their armies small. At least, that was what the council believed. Yet here, above this blue planet, ships were vanishing. Energy readings were off the charts. And the humans stayed silent. The envoy fleet started sending encrypted signals back to the Galactic Council, requesting reinforcements. But even as they did, whispers spread among the crews. What if the Council has been wrong about Earth? What if the humans are not weak? Every hour that passed, the silence felt heavier. Finally, Earth sent a message. Just one. It appeared across the Council's communication screens in simple, cold words. "Leave our orbit. Now." That was all. No threats. No shouting. Just a warning. The envoy leaders stared at the message in disbelief. This small planet was giving orders to them, the rulers of half the galaxy. Terralcor's silver eyes burned with anger. "They dare," he whispered. "They dare threaten us?" The other envoys argued among themselves. "They have no right. They have no power. They have something." One envoy interrupted softly. His hands trembled as he looked at the screen. "Ships do not vanish into nothing." Terralcor refused to believe it. He ordered the entire fleet to hold position, to show strength, to make the humans understand who ruled this galaxy. But deep inside, even Terralcor felt it now. This was not how missions went. Worlds usually begged for peace. Earth did not beg. Earth warned. And warnings from the silent are the most dangerous of all. For 2 long days, the alien envoy fleet stayed above Earth. Their ships glowed like silver ghosts against the night sky, casting shadows over the clouds. Down below, humans lived as if nothing was happening. That silence? It was worse than open defiance. Inside the flagship, High Speaker Terralcor paced back and forth, his silver robes brushing the floor. His face was cold, but his sharp eyes betrayed frustration. "This is madness," one envoy muttered, his scaled hands trembling. "Why are the humans not afraid? Why do they not speak?" Terralcor's voice was quiet but heavy. "They are testing us. They want to see how far we will go." Another envoy shook his head. "Or maybe they know something we don't." Those words hung in the air like poison, because ships had vanished. Scouts sent over the oceans had disappeared without a trace. Energy scans showed readings too powerful for a so-called primitive world. The Council fleet had strength, yes, but it felt blind here, like a hunter in unknown woods. Finally, after 2 days of silence, a single message came from Earth. Only 5 words. "Leave our orbit. Right now." No threats. No excuses. No explanations. Just a warning. The alien envoys stared at the message in disbelief. A single planet, barely out of its cradle, was speaking to the rulers of the galaxy like this? Terralcor's anger burned hot. They insult us. They think we are weak. But behind the anger, a small cold fear crept into every envoy's heart. The humans had been silent for so long. What if that silence meant confidence? Still, the fleet stayed. They sent back their own message. Earth will submit to the Galactic Council, or the Council will bring war. This time, Earth answered. And the galaxy would never forget it. The reply came not with words, but with action. The Council's main communication ship, broadcasting to every star system, suddenly lit up with alarms. A shadow appeared on its sensors, moving too fast to track. Then, silence. The entire ship vanished from every screen. No explosion. No debris. One moment it existed, the next it was gone. Every alien envoy froze. The transmission had been live. Billions across the galaxy were watching the Council's proud envoy fleet on their screens. They saw the lead ship vanish before their eyes. Panic spread like wildfire. "What happened?" Voices shouted on every channel. "Where is the ship? Was it Earth? Did they fire?" But no one had seen a weapon. No missile. No beam of light. No heat signature at all. Just nothing. Terralcor felt his stomach twist. His voice came out tight. "Scan the planet. Find the source." But scans showed nothing unusual. Only the same strange energy signals under the oceans, pulsing slowly, like the heartbeat of something ancient and enormous. The envoy fleet moved nervously now. Ships shifted formation. Crews whispered fears they had never spoken before. "Maybe we should leave," one captain said. Another agreed. "This world is wrong. We should wait for the Council's army." But pride is a dangerous thing. Terralcor refused to retreat. "We will not run from savages," he said coldly. "They are hiding weapons. That is all. We will find them and destroy them if we must." Yet deep inside, even he felt it now. That silence, that confidence, that warning. The humans were not begging for mercy. They were waiting. Then Earth sent a second message. This time it was longer. "We told you to leave. You stayed. Now you will see why that was a mistake." Every envoy went still. The words were calm. Too calm. As if whoever wrote them wasn't afraid at all. The skies above Earth suddenly lit up. Not with fire, but with movement. From beneath the oceans, massive shapes began to rise. Satellite cameras caught the first blurry images. Dark metal giants breaking through the waves, taller than any building, water pouring off their sides like rain. Warships, dozens of them, no hundreds, black, silent, and nothing like the Council's sleek silver vessels. These ships looked older, stronger, built for war, not for show. And the energy readings coming from them broke the Council's computers. "This cannot be," A science officer whispered. They had nothing like this in our records. Nothing. The envoy fleet hovered nervously as the first human warship rose fully into the air. Its black hull carried no symbols, no flags. Just smooth metal and weapons no one could name. The ship did not speak. It simply pointed its weapons at the envoy fleet. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council felt truly small. And the humans had only just begun. The ocean boiled as more of the black warships rose into the air. One after another, they climbed from the deep like ancient giants waking from a long sleep. Water poured off their dark hulls in shining waterfalls. The alien envoys watched in stunned silence. These were not ships the Council had ever seen before. Their designs were strange. Sharp edges, towering structures, weapons glowing faintly along their sides. They looked nothing like the sleek silver ships of the galaxy. These were ships built for one purpose: war. Inside the flagship, High Speaker Terralcor stood frozen. His voice, always sharp and commanding, would not come out. He had seen fleets of every size in his long life, pirate armadas, rebel battleships, even the mighty dreadnoughts of the Council itself. But these were different. Older, stronger, scarier. What are those things? One envoy whispered. Another stammered. Humans should not have this. Their planet was supposed to be weak. Yet here they were, hundreds of warships rising into the sky like a storm made of iron. The first human ship moved forward. It was enormous, a floating fortress with weapons glowing along its sides. Strange symbols ran across its black hull, symbols no one in the Council could read. It aimed its weapons at the envoy fleet but said nothing. No threats, no demands, just silence. Terralcor finally found his voice. Scan them. Find out what they carry. The science officers obeyed. Their scanners hummed, sending waves of energy across the sky. Then the readings came back. The envoy officers stared at the numbers on their screens. This cannot be right, one of them whispered. Say it, Terralcor snapped. The officers swallowed hard. Their weapons are beyond Council limits. Power output higher than anything we've seen. Some of these readings, they should not even be possible. The room fell silent. The envoy fleet, proud and confident when it arrived, now felt like children holding wooden swords before giants of iron. On the surface of Earth, people watched the skies. They saw the alien fleet above, glittering like knives in the sunlight. And then they saw the old warships rising from the oceans, climbing toward the stars. Many humans had not even known such ships existed. They had lived their lives in peace, unaware of what slept beneath the waves. Now the secret was out, and the galaxy was watching too. Billions across star systems saw the live broadcast. They saw the alien fleet hovering in fear. They saw the black warships of Earth forming a wall around the planet. A wall of power. A wall of silence. Where did they get these ships? One envoy demanded. His voice cracked with panic. How could they build this in secret? But deep inside, some envoys remembered old stories. Ancient stories. Long before the Council, there had been wars so great they had burned entire star systems. Weapons so powerful they could kill planets. The Council had believed those were only myths. What if they were wrong? What if Earth was not a young world, but a survivor of those wars? Then the first human warship spoke. Its voice came across every channel, calm and cold. You were told to leave. You stayed. This is your final warning. The envoy fleet shifted nervously. No one moved. No one spoke. Terralcor's pride burned inside him. They dare threaten the Council? But his words were weaker now, as if even he did not believe them. Suddenly, one of the human ships fired. No bright beam, no slow missile, just a single flash of light, so fast the envoy ships didn't even have time to raise shields. And one of the Council's destroyers was simply gone. No fire, no wreckage, just gone. The envoy fleet panicked. Alarms screamed. Ships scattered in fear. But the human warships did not chase. They stayed in perfect formation, surrounding the planet like wolves circling prey. The message was clear: leave, or be destroyed. Across the galaxy, people watched in disbelief. The mighty Galactic Council, rulers of 1,000 worlds, was being held in place by a single planet. By humans. The Council had thought Earth was weak. Now they knew the truth. Earth had been hiding its strength, and the galaxy had just seen the edge of its power. Across the galaxy, billions watched the live broadcasts in disbelief. The mighty Galactic Council, rulers of 1,000 worlds, feared across star systems, was frozen in place by a single planet. By humans. For centuries, the Council had claimed there was no power beyond their reach. They ruled through fear and law. Any rebellion was crushed before it could rise. But now, the Council's envoy fleet floated helplessly above Earth, surrounded by black warships rising from the oceans like ancient monsters waking from a long dream. One Council ship had already vanished without a trace. Another had been erased by a single flash of light from a human warship. No one had seen a weapon like that before. No missile, no beam, just instant destruction. And the humans, they stayed silent after the strike. That silence was worse than any threat. Inside the flagship, High Speaker Terralcore's voice finally broke through the fear. "Send word to the Council homeworld," he ordered sharply. Tell them Earth is not what we thought." But even as he spoke, he felt the weight of humiliation. Billions were watching. Whole civilizations had seen the Council fleet tremble before a planet they once called primitive. A junior envoy with pale blue skin spoke nervously. "High Speaker, should we retreat?" The room went silent. No one in the Council's history had ever spoken those words before. Retreat. The Council never retreated. But here, above this small blue planet, the word no longer sounded weak. Sounded wise. Terralcore turned toward the holographic display showing the human fleet. The black warships surrounded Earth in a perfect formation. Their weapons glowed faintly, but none were aimed to fire again. They didn't need to. The message was clear. Leave or be destroyed. Terralcore's pride battled with his fear. "We are the Council," he growled. "We cannot bow to a single planet." But deep down, even he felt it. The humans had shown only a fraction of their power. If they fired again, the envoy fleet would not survive. Across alien worlds, news channels replayed the moment the Council ship vanished. Citizens on distant planets whispered in fear. "Did you see it? They destroyed a Council warship in one shot." Humans, what are they? Some spoke with anger. The Council should strike back. But most spoke with fear. What if Earth strikes us next? Old stories began to surface. Legends from before the Council was born. Tales of an ancient war that burned across the stars, fought by civilizations now long gone. Many had dismissed those stories as myths. But now, as they watched the black warships of Earth rise from the oceans, those myths felt real again. In the envoy fleet, arguments broke out. "We should leave now," one captain said, "before they destroy us all." Another snarled, "No, if we retreat, the whole galaxy will see our weakness." "They already see it," someone else whispered. "Every second we stay here, we look smaller." Terralcore slammed his fist against the table. "Enough! We are the Council. We decide the laws of this galaxy." But his words rang hollow. Everyone in the room knew the truth. The Council was no longer in control. Then, a new message came from Earth. "The Council has ruled for centuries with fear. That ends today. Leave our skies. Do not return." The voice was calm, steady, and cold. The envoy fleet fell silent. For the first time in centuries, the Council was being given orders. By a single planet. One of the youngest envoys, a quiet creature with golden eyes, spoke softly. "High Speaker, if we fight them, we lose the fleet. If we retreat, we lose our pride. Either way, the Council loses." Terralcore said nothing, because the envoy was right. Already, across the galaxy, countless worlds were watching Earth's defiance. Many had lived under Council control for generations. Some paid heavy taxes. Others had been forced to give up weapons, land, even freedom. Now they saw Earth standing against the Council, and winning. Rebellions would rise after this. On the Council homeworld, Leaders watched the broadcasts in growing horror. "The envoy fleet must survive," one elder said. "If it is destroyed, our power collapses." Another replied, "Our power is already collapsing. Every planet sees this humiliation." For the first time in centuries, the Council felt the one thing they had made others feel for so long: fear. Above Earth, the envoy fleet hesitated. Retreat or fight? The black warships waited silently. Their weapons glowed faintly in the dark. One more strike and the envoy fleet would be gone. The Council's pride screamed to stay, but their survival whispered to leave. And survival always speaks louder. The envoy fleet hung above Earth like a trapped animal. The black warships of humanity surrounded them on all sides, silent and unmoving, their weapons glowing faintly in the darkness. One wrong move, and the entire envoy fleet would vanish like dust in the wind. Inside the Council flagship, High Speaker Terralcor felt sweat running down his silver skin. He had ruled with pride for decades, his voice feared across star systems. But here, in orbit above this single blue world, his pride felt small and meaningless. The envoy fleet waited, Earth waited, and the galaxy watched. Finally, Earth broke the silence. A single human warship detached from the formation. It moved slowly at first, like a predator circling its prey. Then, with a sudden flash of light, it left Earth's orbit and jumped into deep space. The envoy fleet stayed frozen. "Where is it going?" one alien officer whispered. Terralcor stared at the radar screen. The human ship was moving fast, far too fast for anything the Council knew. "It is heading to the Council colonies," a navigator said nervously. Another officer shook his head. "Alone? Against our fleets? They cannot win." But deep inside, none of them believed their own words. Across the galaxy, news channels followed the human warship as it left Earth behind. It moved like a shadow, crossing star systems in hours, faster than any Council vessel could follow. Its destination became clear: the Kellner sector, a lawless region on the edge of Council space. For years, pirates had ruled there. The Council had promised protection but never delivered. Entire colonies had been left to suffer while the Council grew rich and fat in its shining capital. Now, the human warship appeared in that sector like a ghost out of the dark. The pirates laughed when they first saw it. "One ship," their leader sneered. "The humans send one ship against us?" They gathered their fleet, dozens of raiders, stolen destroyers, even old Council frigates bought on the black market. They expected an easy victory. They were wrong. The human warship didn't speak, didn't warn, simply fired. One flash of light. One pirate ship vanished instantly, erased from existence. The rest of the pirate fleet panicked. They scattered like insects before fire, firing wildly in every direction. But the human warship moved through them like a storm through dry grass. Silent, precise. Every shot it fired destroyed another ship instantly. No wreckage. No survivors. In less than 10 minutes, the entire pirate fleet was gone. Across the galaxy, billions watched the battle through live broadcasts. The same thought spread across every world, every station, every colony. The humans have weapons the Council does not understand. On the Council homeworld, leaders argued in panic. "They destroyed the pirates," one shouted. "The colonies will see this. They will no longer need us. They were supposed to be primitive," another said, his voice shaking. "Where did they get this power?" No one had an answer. The human warship did not stay to celebrate. It sent a single message to the nearest colony. "You are safe now. No one will harm you again." Then it turned and left the sector, vanishing into faster-than-light travel before the Council could react. For the first time in centuries, the colonies under Council rule felt something new. Hope. Back above Earth, the envoy fleet received reports of the battle. Terralcor listened in silence as his officers read the news. "The pirates are gone," one officer said quietly. A single human ship did what the Council fleet could not do in years. The envoy chamber fell silent, because everyone understood what this meant. The Council had ruled through fear, but now, humanity was showing the galaxy a different path. one where the Council's power meant nothing. The humans sent one more message to the envoy fleet. It was short. Leave our skies. Tell the Council, Earth will not kneel. Terralcor looked at the black warships surrounding his fleet. He thought of the pirates destroyed in seconds. He thought of the colonies cheering for humanity instead of the Council. Pride screamed at him to stay, but fear whispered louder. Order the retreat, he said finally, his voice shaking. Get us out of here. And so, before billions of watching eyes, the mighty Council envoy fleet turned and fled Earth's orbit. For the first time in living memory, the galaxy saw the Council retreat. And they saw the humans stand unbroken. But deep beneath Earth's oceans, more warships still slept. Older, stronger, waiting, because humanity had revealed only a fraction of its true power. And the galaxy had no idea what was coming next. The envoy fleet ran from Earth like prey fleeing a hunter. Their engines burned bright as they left orbit, moving faster than they had ever moved before. On every world, in every system, billions watched the retreat through live broadcasts. The sight was shocking. The Council, rulers of the galaxy for centuries, was running from a single planet. From Earth, the galaxy had seen fear before. They had seen rebellions crushed and colonies burned. They had seen planets punished when they defied Council law. But this was different. This was not rebellion. This was power. On the Council homeworld, panic spread through the shining halls of government. They destroyed the pirates in Kelner, one elder said, his voice trembling. They defended colonies we ignored for years. Now those colonies are turning to Earth for protection, another growled. Not to us. The Council had ruled with fear for centuries. Now that fear was slipping away. Because fear only works if people believe you are the strongest. And after what the galaxy saw over Earth, no one believed that anymore. In the markets of distant planets, people spoke in whispers. Did you see the human ships? One shot and the Council destroyer was gone. They fought for the colonies when the Council would not. Some voices even spoke with hope. Maybe Earth will protect us now. Maybe the Council's time is over. Meanwhile, on Earth, the black warships returned to the oceans. One by one, they sank back beneath the waves, disappearing into the deep like monsters returning to sleep. But the galaxy knew now they were there, waiting, watching, and no one knew how many more slept under the water, or under the deserts, or hidden in the far corners of space. In the Council capital, emergency meetings lasted for days. We must prepare for war, one general shouted. Earth cannot be allowed to rise against us. But another leader shook his head. War? Did you not see what they did? One ship destroyed an entire pirate fleet in minutes. If we fight them, we will lose. The High Speaker himself, Terralcor, said nothing. He had seen the black warships rise from the oceans. He had seen the envoy fleet surrounded like insects before a storm. And he knew the truth. The Council could not win. Then came the moment that changed everything. A single human warship jumped into the space above the Council homeworld itself. The capital's defense fleet scrambled to respond, weapons locking onto the unknown ship. But before anyone fired, the human warship sent a single message. It was not long. We do not want your throne. We do not want your empire. But the age of fear is over. Leave Earth alone. Leave the colonies alone. Rule with justice or do not rule at all. The message ended. The human warship waited. It did not fire. It did not threaten. It simply turned and vanished into the darkness of space, leaving the Council world frozen in silence. On distant colonies, people cheered. For the first time in centuries, someone had spoken to the Council without fear. For the first time, someone had shown them that the Council was not untouchable. And that someone was Earth. Slowly, across the galaxy, the balance of power began to shift. The Council remained in its shining capital, passing laws and holding meetings. But its voice no longer carried the same weight. Now, when the Council sent fleets to demand tribute, colonies asked one question. Will Earth allow it? When rebels rose against Council taxes, they whispered another question. Will Earth help us? And always, behind those whispers, was the memory of the black warships rising from the oceans, and the memory of a single council destroyer erased in one shot. On Earth, the leaders spoke quietly among themselves. They had revealed only a fraction of their strength. The oldest warships still slept beneath the oceans, the deserts, and the mountains. Weapons older than the council itself remained hidden, untouched for centuries. Earth had no desire to conquer the stars, but it would never kneel to anyone again. In the shadows of space, far from the eyes of the council, human warships moved silently, guarding colonies the council had abandoned, protecting trade routes from pirates, giving food to starving worlds. And people began to speak a new name in the dark corners of the galaxy. Not the council, not the empire, but Earth, the world that stood alone, the world that changed everything, the world that ended the age of fear. The galaxy had sent peace envoys to Earth, expecting surrender. What they found instead was the beginning of a new order. An order where humanity's silence was more terrifying than any fleet, and its power beyond imagination.